I see guys like Ariel Helwani saying at the moment he thinks UFC is lacking like a star. There's a serious like superstar problem.
I don't think it's just him saying that either. It's a little bit of the sentiment right now in terms of the. I think it was where your question about entertainment value was going. Like we've entered this like Dagestani rush. Like
Tom Aspinall just went full atomic mode, and no, we're not talking about his punches. We're talking about him torching the UFC like it's a backyard barbecue, and Jon Jones is the steak getting all the seasoning. Why is Tom swinging harder at UFC politics than he does in the octagon? Favoritism, baby. Yep, apparently the UFC loves Jon Jones more than Dana White loves a mic drop. Grab popcorn. This meltdown has more twists than a heavyweight takedown.
All of you guys here are top-notch fighters. You guys have won belts, and you guys are accomplished fighters in your weight classes. What makes Jon Jones, I need to hear it like as a fight fan, what has made him so dominant over this many years, this many fighters? It's got to be something special.
I'm going to tell you, how many of you guys here how many of you guys fought Jon Jones?
Just kidding. We know you're the only one that's fought Jon Jones in here.
Tom Aspinall has officially gone nuclear, and no, this isn't your standard post-fight mic drop. This is the full-blown mushroom cloud-level meltdown where Aspinall has clearly decided, you know what? If I can't get Jon Jones in the cage, I'll just verbally drop-kick the entire UFC brass instead. Let's be honest, Tom Aspinall is not wrong to be frustrated. The man has been fighting like a bulldozer on Red Bull, smashing through the heavyweight division with the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a church choir. He becomes interim champ faster than you can say, "Where's Stipe?" And suddenly, radio silence.
Now he's looking down at a young man, and it's like, he's not scared. Make no mistake about it. But I think it's enough to like question it. And you know what I think a big worry might be for him? Because with Aspinall, he could potentially get knocked out. Like legitimately knocked out and put on his back and out cold. And I just don't know that he wants to have that visual of him in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably, you probably nailed it right on the head right there.
Instead, what do we get? Oh yes, the never-ending romantic comedy between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. The matchup that's been hyped longer than a Marvel reboot, and yet still doesn't exist in the physical realm. It's the UFC's version of will they or won't they? Except the answer is always, they might. Someday? Maybe. After the next ice age. Meanwhile, Aspinall is left holding the interim belt like it's a consolation prize at a rigged carnival. But Aspinall wasn't content just simmering. Nope. He threw subtlety out the window and set fire to the whole kitchen. Because when you want the UFC's attention, you don't whisper. Apparently, you scream into the void and hope Dana White hears it over the sound of stacking Jon Jones' pay-per-view receipts.
That's kind of crazy if you look at his career. It's all 1 and 2. That's great, but it's also not great because he doesn't have any deep water experience. Imagine if he fought Stipe when Stipe was in his prime, or he fought Cain. You can't have 1-round fights and expect to beat Cain Velasquez in a 5-round war because the chances are you're not going to catch him in the first round.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't know how he's going to look at the 4th and 5th round.
Sure, he might be great, but he doesn't have that experience. And no matter how confident he is, there's got to be a couple questions. Yeah. Like Jon has no question, right? There's no questions in Jon Jones.
Aspinall went full scorched earth, pointing out the glaringly obvious. Jon Jones seems to have the kind of career flexibility that makes Olympic gymnasts look stiff. But here's the twist. In doing so, Aspinall accidentally stepped on the one unwritten rule in the UFC. Thou shalt not challenge the Jon Jones ecosystem. Jon is not just a fighter, he's a revenue-generating spirit animal. He gets more title protection than an antique vase in a toddler's playroom. If he wants a 6-month recovery, a ceremonial fight with a 41-year-old firefighter, and a lighting crew imported from Broadway, he gets it. Meanwhile, Aspinall's biggest reward for decapitating Sergey Pavlovich in the first round is being told to sit in the corner like he asked for an extra breadstick.
I see guys like Ariel Helwani saying at the moment he thinks UFC is lacking like a star. There's a serious like superstar problem.
I don't think it's just him saying that either. It's a little bit of the sentiment right now in terms of the. I think it was where your question about entertainment value was going. Like we've entered this like Dagestani rush like wrestling period. Like some are already calling it the boring era of the UFC. I'm not personally saying that, by the way. Neither is anyone on this podcast, Logan Paul, or the Impulsive Podcast as a whole, or Tom Aspinall. I should say that right now. But people are saying it. Some people are saying that, and so like, who is going to be the person that brings that bravado, that knockout style, because it was Sean for a second. Like, people really loved watching Sean. They loved watching him knock people out. And then all of a sudden, you got this fucking little fucking takedown problem that ruined the day, you know? And it's like,
well, I think that's quite subjective.
Let's talk about that interim belt, that glorified participation trophy that the UFC hands out when they want to keep the division moving but still bow at the altar of a marketable champion. It's like being crowned prom king at the wrong school dance. You're wearing the sash, but no one knows your name and the real king isn't even in the building. That's Aspinall's life right now. He's got a belt that somehow carries less influence than Jon Jones's Twitter feed. And then there's the PR spin. We're waiting for the legacy fight. Oh please, legacy fight? Is this about legacy, or is this about giving Jon Jones a nice warm-up dance with Stipe so the UFC can cash in before retirement season kicks in?
You have the shortest average fight time in UFC history at 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yep. That's good.
How would we know if you can go?
I don't. It's a mystery for everybody. You know what I absolutely love? It's one of my favorite things about my style is that nobody knows anything about me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we're going to get to some Jon Jones conversations at some point. Jon is a massive studier of his opponents. Yeah, he's a massive tape studier. Like, that's one of the things that he does best. And the tapes are just not really out there of me. And the fact that I live over here as well, I think it's a massive... I think some people see it like as a detriment living in the UK away from here. For me personally, I think it's amazing because, like, when I go to Vegas and training, like, I see how intertwined everybody is with each other's business and stuff.
To be fair, Tom Aspinall has tried everything. He's been respectful. He's been patient. He even smiled through a few interviews like a man who hasn't been ghosted harder than a bad Tinder date. But now he's done playing nice. And who can blame him? When you're the most active, exciting heavyweight in the division, and you still can't get a real title fight, you start questioning whether the UFC is being run by matchmakers or astrologers. Meanwhile, Jon Jones is out here tweeting about goats, lifting furniture, and generally giving off the energy of a man who knows he's untouchable. The UFC treats him like an endangered species, rare, expensive, and impossible to criticize.
I'm not the best boxer in the world. I'm not the best grappler in the world. I'm not the best wrestler in the world. I've not got the best fitness in the world. I'm not the strongest guy in the world. But put it all together, and as a collective, I do that as good as anybody.
I think there's a petition for Jones to vacate the title. It got like 130,000 signatures. Did you see that?
Jesus Christ. I mean, it is getting kind of crazy. I mean, on one hand, it's Jon Jones. On the other hand, it's like Tom Aspinall's been winning all these fights. And didn't he defend his interim belt? Pretty sure that's insane. Like, defending your interim belt.
It's his final fight, obviously.
Yeah.
And like, I think he's just trying to get the biggest possible bag he can.
I want to be compensated to the point where if I won or lost, that it really wouldn't matter.
And Dana White? Oh, he's busy ducking Aspinall questions with the grace of a politician dodging tax audits. And just when you think it couldn't get more absurd, here come the rumors. Jones might not return until late 2025, or maybe never. But still, Aspinall is supposed to wait patiently, sharpening his skills in a corner, hoping Daddy Dana finally calls his name. Let's face it, Aspinall is stuck in heavyweight limbo, and he's finally snapping like a protein shake blender without a lid. And his outburst isn't just about Jon Jones. It's about the whole UFC favoritism circus. So now Tom is throwing verbal Molotovs. And while it's hilarious for us, it's also kind of tragic. Because deep down, all he wants is a fair shake. Or at the very least, a shot at the belt that doesn't come with a 14-month waiting list and a prerequisite of being Jon Jones's favorite cousin. Until then, the heavyweight division remains a strange place, where one guy holds a belt and begs for relevance, while another guy holds the spotlight and barely shows up. One fights anyone, anywhere, anytime. The other's biggest battle is between couch cushions,